Well, Shanghai was they used to kidnap people to literally bring them to Shanghai as slaves.
Yeah.
There's conscription, which is what the British Navy used to do to people. They'd find you drunk.
Guys, we're back.
Oh, hey.
Snuck it in on you guys. All right, apologize everyone, but the internet is being a butt today, and so we're back again. We'll see if people follow us or not. Over here, I just tweeted it out. If you guys could do me a favor and share out the link and let them know we're back live, that there was some technical difficulties, but we are here and we're getting started, and people seem to be popping back in, which is awesome. So we left off with, you guys were in a burning field surrounded by these psychic baboon creatures. They were closing in on you guys. Both Raz and Dr. Lucy put up these barriers around the whole party. You guys had one of them try and test the barriers and make it through and attack Bunny, the one that's been producing the fire. And, it got mind blasted, it got shot, it got fried from the barriers, and ends up at Bunny's feet dead. All the creatures are screaming, Kreezak, Kreezak. And, now they're just kind of circling the barriers, bouncing back and forth.
So all we have to do is just keep this pace up. They come in one at a time, and we kill them. That'll be perfect.
And then,
yeah, all 200 of them.
So what are you guys doing? Krizik had just acted. Dr. Lucy and I believe Raz, you guys have to focus on concentrating on your barriers.
It's a minor action.
Is it a minor? Okay. I know it was for a boon for sure. Okay.
Well, in light that it's a minor action, I would like to yell to Krizik. Krizik, see if you can shield your own mind from their probing, and I'm going to pull out my antique pepper box with my non-mechanical hand and shoot at one of them as we're moving backwards.
Okay.
And that is, what is that? That's my bang bang ability. Agility versus guard, I got 15. Oh wait, and I get to roll my agility too. I forgot about that. I just rolled the 20. I'm used to D&D. 19.
Okay, 19. Catches grazing shot on one of them.
Okay.
They howl Kreezak in pain.
All right, and I'm just gonna keep backing up with the barrier.
And to be clear, they're not saying Krizik, they're saying Kreezak. You've heard it enough times. It definitely sounds different.
Kreezak, Krizik, they're all the same.
Israel is backing towards the dwarf, standing next to him, and Israel's going to start reloading his gun.
Okay. Dr. Lucy is up. What are you doing?
I am going to do what I did before and use that rolling bolt of void, the persistent damage attack that I have. 9.
So you go to fire at one of them, or you throw your ball at one of them, and it just hops over it. So with that, one of the ones kind of separates itself from the pack, and puts itself right in front of you guys, and stands up on 2 legs and stands tall and rigid, and kind of does like this with its paws and snarls Kreezak, and they all do that all around, but they're all facing the one that's facing you guys. They're not facing you guys. And what are your resolves?
19.
14.
300. Okay, it's 15.
16.
And I am the lowest of the pack at 11.
Okay. Oh, you know what? It's actually easier if I do it this way. So, basically, only Krizik actually sees what happens. You see a rippling cone of energy come at you guys, and you know it's pure psychic energy and invisible to the rest of them. Only because you're already psychic that you're actually able to see it, and it totally looks like Aquaman talking to fish. So it is.
Awesome sound effect.
I have a 23. Whatever the difference is between that number and your resolve is how much damage you took.
Okay.
Ow.
Ouch.
And if you have a 15 or under, I mean a 13 or under, you are also stunned.
Like guys,
Well,
that was just. I'm stunned and I just took 2/3 of my hit points. So
you are riding
mutt.
mutt. So on the plus side, bless you.
Bless you.
Oh, thank you. Sorry.
Bless you.
So, get to the mic to mute it in time.
I know your pain. So on the plus side, you're still with the group and not on the ground.
Okay, my turn.
It is your turn.
I want to spread out some serious lightning damage on these SOBs.
So as a well, 1 second, Bill. As a construct, is Mutt affected by this?
He's not. Do
Okay.
not affect him.
So he picks him up and puts him in the harness saddle.
I'm in the saddle because that's the only way I can see. I'm 2'10". The grass is 3 foot tall.
Can we just say that you look like that one prince of the Bog of Eternal Stench in Labyrinth with a big hat and everything? And charge! Like, Sir something.
Sir Cadogan.
So Ted,
Okay.
on your turn, you're
Major
restricted to a major action, move action, or minor action.
Well, I had already said that I was going to be shooting, and I missed. So
Okay.
I rolled a 9. It happens. I actually didn't think I'd get to do anything with with being stunned. So
Yeah. Well, and on your turn too, you can use your move action to try and resist the bane.
okay.
So when we'll get to that. So we'll handle Krizik first.
There I am. Okay. Yeah, I want to try and do like what is it, the residual damage to everybody? Like it's a boon, a bane, or something. I remember seeing it somewhere. These guys need to be hit. They need to be hit hard. So I want to try and do like an area attack of damage to these guys.
So you can do an area attack with any attack. It's just unless you have a feat or something, you just get disadvantaged to do it.
Okay. Then
So you need to roll a 20 on your d20 so that you have to hit them all, and then the disadvantage won't matter on your stat die.
are you being for real?
Yes.
I actually have to roll a 20. No joke.
No.
Like,
I think their guard is 15. So if you can hit that, you can get it.
So first you have to determine how many do you want to try and attack at once.
crap. I can't just do like a general area, like a cube.
What is your power rank?
5.
A 5.
Yeah.
So that'll give you a big size cube, but without any special abilities, then you're just gonna have disadvantage to hit them all. So you can try that. So you'll get a bunch of them in that area. Disadvantage 3.
I choose to use. Oh, can I use my legendary point to try and offset that?
Yes, you can.
How
That
about
will remove one of them.
one of? Oh, crying out loud!
So as a 5, you're going to be rolling a d20 and then 2d6.
Yeah, 2d6.
But then you'll be rolling 4d6, but you choose the lowest 2 6-siders.
Okay.
So your 20 is not affected by the disadvantage.
Okay. Sheesh, that's good.
Dave,
to know.
that's correct, right?
Yes.
Hey Doug, earlier you had last episode you had done a thing to give everybody an extra boost. What do you think, buddy? You got an extra one of those?
It's a major action to bolster
Never mind.
somebody.
Never
I can
mind.
drop the barrier.
No. Let's try not. Okay. So 3, a 4,
Hold on a second.
2, and a 6. So I have to drop the 2 highest. So the 3, 4, 2, and a 6. So I got a 3 and a 2 with my 15. So that's 20. Exactly 20.
Yeah. So you're using electricity.
Yeah, I'm going to try and just like turn everything into like an electrical attack, like directly on their synapses. So it's not an external, it's an internal. I'm going to try and fry their brain.
Okay, so like you see like 5 of them stand up and like kind of shimmy and shake. And you've harmed them. And I mean, you know, with your psychic senses, you see their synapses firing and going crazy.
Awesome.
So who wants to go next?
Who all is stunned? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying Israel's still reloading.
Just Bunny.
Just Bunny? Okay, well, in that case, I'm gonna restoration to cancel that Bane. Bane? Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So Bunny, you are fine now. Well, other than being really hurt.
Other than taking 2/3 of my hit points and damage.
Yeah, other than that, you're perfect. Peachy Keen. So the fog from your mind lifts as Dr. Lucy extends her will towards you.
Okay, so
You have to stay alert. We can't die here.
but Bunny can't let that happen again.
Mother
So-
out
I don't even know what he would sound like since he's half dog and half cat. All right, so what am I able to do then? I mean,
You have your full allotment of actions. You can do whatever you want.
all right, well,
Charge them.
yes, absolutely. No, so I think I'll try and do a swath. Can I get a cover on a group?
Yeah, you could definitely do that. You can you can adjust the nozzle on your flamethrower essentially and do a cone.
All right, so how many would I get?
You're gonna be able to get like 4 of them.
All right, so is that a disadvantage 3?
Yes.
All right, so it's a 17. I don't get to explode the nice 10 that I would have rolled.
Good job. So so you singe, you know, all 4 of them, and they all yelp. And at this point, they're all kind of like backing up and hanging back. And they don't, you know, none of them are getting too close, but they're still kind of following you guys.
Well, there's
These colors don't run. We taken them out.
Oh, I was gonna say I was gonna suggest we run, but Raz would probably mutter under her breath, "This is why I was looking for bigger guns on the ship." And I'm just gonna fire as we continue to retreat and get away from them.
Yeah, I too am in favor of retreat.
Ooh, I got an exploder, so it's 15.
how many are around us, Dave?
How many? You can't even count them. Well, mainly because the grass is tall and you have a limited view.
We just have to make them scared of us, and I got a 29 on my agility versus guard with my gun.
Okay, so that's definitely a bane.
I will do demoralized, which is my presence versus their resolve. To
So
give them
if you know
disadvantage.
my kobold's pretty smart. So are we talking 20, 50, more than 100?
Like probably more than 20. But
And I got a
literally, they could be, even though he's pretty smart, he can't see through the grass, so they could be like hiding out there. You have no idea.
All right, I'm just trying to have an idea. So
I got a 23 on my presence versus their resolve, or whichever one I shot.
Okay, so again, they still are kind of like backing up,
Good.
backing off, and they're kind of like slinking back into the grass. Every once in a while, you see one of those white tufts pop up above the grass,
All right.
and
They're scared of us, my friends.
so are you guys going to keep up your barrier? Like, how long are you going to try and keep the barriers up for?
I would say probably just drop it and run would be my suggestion to the group.
all right. we've now observed them for a little bit of time. Both on the way in and in combat. Is anyone knowledgeable about critters or insight? Can we get any kind of idea on like what we think would be the best course of action?
Raz and
Every-
Krizik have both been to the surface, so what kind of knowledge do we already have?
Every time I've come to surface, people die, unseen monsters kidnap people in the night. My suggestion: run.
Pretty much, like you know whatever. You tell me what Krizik has experienced so far. Like, how often has he come to the surface? Like, Raz has been here 3 times with covert operations. You tell me how many times you think Krizik has been to the surface.
The way that kobolds are treated, especially the ones who are, mandatory conscripted, drafted, honestly, I don't know if Krizik would be able to count that high. This is also where Krizik was friendly fired.
Oh, on the surface? Was it friendly fire?
Well, Krizik assumes because it was a bullet, and these things don't usually, unless somebody, like, it doesn't know. Maybe one of them used a psychic attack to reroute a bullet, but whatever.
Okay, so you've been here. You've been here a handful of times, right? Maybe a couple more times than Raz. The fact that you've survived so long means you've gone to quieter areas and haven't encountered as much. But pretty much every expedition always ends abruptly or soon, or they're scheduled to be very brief because the ground has been so hostile towards anyone coming to the surface. Any creatures you've encountered, they've been different every time, and you've not seen these things. Basically, from what you guys seen so far, they look like animals, but they have exhibited, some kind of psychic hive mind, definitely some kind of psychic powers, and they're resistant to anything that kind of affected them individually, especially on a psychic level. So they're not your typical stereotypical normal animal. They're definitely above that. You all could have had experience with wildlife, up in the skies, but on the ground, this is a completely new territory. So even someone who's been here a few times is still going to be, you've really just barely scratched the surface.
That's why I think it should be like some kind of insight kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree.
So, what exactly are you trying to do, Bunny?
Like, are they acting like a hungry pack? Are they acting like, this is their territory and they're trying to drive us off because we're invading, or any number of typical Animalia type behavior patterns? It's nothing that Bunny is going to have any knowledge of, but somebody else might be able to perceive that fact.
Based off what your exposure, no, because it could be a territory thing. They're still following you guys too. They're still like at a distance observing. They definitely have kind of a colony-like aspect to the way they are interacting with each other and following you guys. But yeah, you're not sure what they're motivated. Could be whether they're motivated by curiosity, motivated by it being a territorial thing, or they could absolutely see you as a food source. They definitely had sharp, pointy teeth, meaning they are most likely not vegetarians or herbivores.
Can I ask a question? Would Raz be aware of the fact that they were psychic kind of creatures?
Yeah,
Or
because the one like exploded all your heads.
Well, then I would probably turn to Krizik and be like, "Can you shield our minds? Perhaps they are tracking us by our thoughts instead of focusing on them, why don't you try to mask our presence?
Well, yeah, that's what I was actually trying to do with.
Oh.
This is what Krizik tried to do with Self. Also, I wonder if I could grab one for Dr. Aristotle's.
That's a bad idea.
Biology. Yeah, personal
It's a very
biology
bad
lab.
idea. They can find each other. I thought of that already.
Wait, what did you say?
If you get one, the rest of them will be able to find it.
No, a dead one. One of the dead ones.
Are you sure it won't be able to track that?
It's kind of hard to send, like even Krizik understands. It's hard to send someone psychically when they're freaking dead. By the way, Dave, I noticed you're doing lids on your coffees now. I wonder why that happened.
That's funny. Also, it's because it's a Wawa coffee. There was the incident. There was the great coffee incident of 2014. We don't talk about that. But it did end in my computer in a bag of rice for like 3 days.
I was just talking about when you had a fly in your cup the other day.
Oh yeah. There was that too. There's so many things that happen. So that being said, they're actually following you now. Like they're visually watching you guys from a distance. Like they're not getting close. And if you take pot shots at them or whatever, they start figuring out the range and they stay out of it. And they are mainly trying to stay hidden. So like, yeah, taking a dead one probably wouldn't matter so much because they're physically following you guys.
There are a bunch of them. There is only one that we managed to kill, which took fire, both barriers, and what do you call it? Ty's gunshot and
Psychic.
Psychic damage. So it's like, all right, well, it took all of us to bring one down.
I tell you
Cameron-
what, if we survive to make it back, I'll pick up the body on the way back.
We killed two. I shot one in the head last week.
Yeah. So roll better, Ted. Roll better.
Can we find like a narrow passage or something?
Well,
And not necessarily to bottleneck them for combat, but so that we can like throw up maybe a darkness curtain. Like
So I'm going under the assumption you guys have been moving for ever since, and
Yes.
for however long times, going in the direction you're going and trying to figure out things to do. And in the distance, after moving several hours, you do see a forest. Possibly you could lose them in there. It's in the direction you guys are going.
Let's go explore the forest. What could possibly go wrong?
Well,
If there's any high ground, I would head for that.
also, if we're walking for a couple of hours while we're doing so, I basically want to walk around to everybody and use heal through my presence. Basically, I'm giving everybody sort of like inspiration healing.
Pep talk.
Yeah, basically a pep talk. Good job. That's if everybody will listen to me.
Rub some
I will
dirt on it, buddy.
I will listen to you, Commander.
Good job, you
Good job.
crap lesser beings.
Aren't we
Shut
all
up,
glad
Bobo.
aren't we glad that a human is here to tell us what to do?
So how much do
I'm
you
not
actually?
telling you what to do. I'm telling you how good a job you're doing.
You just told us to heal. You said, shut up and heal.
And,
Human.
and I feel better already.
I can heal 1d10.
All right. So you can roll it. They can roll it. However you guys want to figure that out.
Each of them can roll a d10.
Make it their own fault. I agree.
Yeah. They already don't like the human enough.
Human privilege.
I am completely healed.
I like you just fine. It's just a matter of whether or not how you feel about me. But I feel much better after your pep talk. I'll tell you that much.
Well, I've gone from calling you kobold to engineer.
Hey,
You're moving up in the world.
maybe by the end of the campaign I'll actually have a name.
But
So
a
here's
nickname.
a question for you, Dave. Is it a situation where it's a vast forest where it's like pretty much not limitless, but like as far as we look either way, it's just like we come upon, and that's we have to go a significant distance either way to get around it.
You might have to travel days out of your way to try and circumvent it. And at this point, you're not even, since guys don't have really good maps to go by, you don't even know the geography.
Right. So
then let's go inside.
Are we in like an infantile forest, a regular forest, redwoods?
Oh, no, this is definitely more like redwoods.
All right.
So except for when you get to the trees almost have a rock-like skin on them for the bark. But it's not complete. It's almost like you know how like pine trees have those big chunky pieces of bark, and they have all the little rivets that go between. It's kind of like that.
I take samples.
And you can see in certain places where it almost looks like the trees are bleeding as the sap kind of oozes.
I take samples of that too.
Does group want Bunny to climb and look out?
That's not a bad idea, Bunny. You have an excellent tactical mind.
Tie a rope around him in case there's something dangerous up there.
It almost feels like reverse fishing at that point.
Get down here! So
we can throw the other end of the rope over a limb.
Well, we were all tied together at one point.
Can I just fly up and throw down the rope?
Well, I can climb without a problem. So.
You could use your movement to kind of like propel yourself upwards, yes.
Just teleport up. I mean, come on.
But the amount of movement you can use is a little bit limited because you're generally using it to offset your paralysis.
But that's an automatic.
Yeah, it's automatic, but you still have to exert it all the time. Like you're constantly, and you're like your will for that is becomes so great just because you're always doing it.
Yeah, I was just okay.
So, but Bunny scurry. While you're thinking about doing it, Bunny just pretty much scurries up the tree like a squirrel. And as you get to a good point for a vantage point, Ted, you actually do see a squirrel up there. The only difference is the squirrel is like comes up to your chest. And you kind of startle it. It drops, what it was chewing on, which was like this, was like a large eggcorn.
I also take samples of that.
Which falls down beneath, and when it hits the ground, it's thud. It hits with a thud, and it is like the size of a softball. And it seems to have that same kind of skin on it that the bark is made out of. But something you guys may not have necessarily seen the squirrel, but you see that something had been eating this and had chewed through it. And very much when you touch it, feels like it's hard, like a rock, like stone. But Ted, as soon as it sees you, it's startled. It dives to one of the other branches, and it spreads its limbs out and kind of like glides across on flaps of skin like a flying squirrel. It looks like a giant flying squirrel. So you survey around you. You look back. You see the forest line, and you can see that those baboon creatures are lined up on the border, and they're all like standing and looking. Even some of them doing one of these, but it's almost like there's a wall or a fence or an imaginary line, but they do not cross it.
Do I have the wherewithal to know that means that we're in something else's territory now?
You could speculate.
Hey, at least the squirrels aren't scaled and psychic.
Whoa, this ain't Athos now.
Hey, no one said they weren't psychic. But Bunny didn't look like an eggcorn.
All right, so I see the line that the baboon creatures won't cross. Do I see anything else? Anything of note? Anything of worth? Like anything that I can share?
So
Besides
yeah,
that-
you climb to the top of the forest, and you find yourself at the top of this tree, and the whole tree seems extremely sturdy. It doesn't really move much at all when you light on the branches, and you scurry to the top. You find yourself a good like 60, 70 feet in the air, and you just see treetops for as far as you can see in any direction except for the one you came, and then you can see the grasslands. And even and then in the distance beyond the forest, you can see that there's some kind of mountainous region.
Now, from our aerial view, we're looking to head towards some kind of crystalline something or other. Was that after the forest and before the mountains, on the other side of the mountains?
Yeah, there was a crystal plains. You guys actually touched down. You guys actually touched down. Above that, you're actually moving away from it.
Okay.
We were heading towards the gloom, right? Wasn't that our destination?
It is.
Okay.
Can you see that?
Rinse, repeat.
Yeah. So in that mountainous region, you think you can make it out, but it's far off.
Could I make a logic check to gauge about how long of a travel that's going to be?
You can make it with disadvantage though. Disadvantage 1.
Some takeaway. 21.
You think if you don't encounter any obstacles, it could take you, it could just take you a week to 2 weeks just to get through the forest. And that's not even really accounting for the terrain per se, which you're not familiar with as far as moving through a forest compared to walking down the street.
So I will scurry down and I'll start communicating. Bunny think forest is really big. We have 3 days to make it to Gloom. I think it's going to be at least a week before we get out of the forest, and I can't entirely make out the Gloom, but I can make out the mountain that we saw near it.
It is good thing we brought those flares with us to signal the ship, if that is the case.
Yes, we have the flares, but I don't know whether we don't have anything that says, come back in 2 weeks. How do we proceed?
I say go forward. That's my vote.
Well,
We have a job to do.
we have a job. I have no compunctions against that. I'm afraid that if we go into forest and we fire up our flares, the flares might not make it through the canopy.
Well, we only brought with us enough food and water to last for 3 days, for one thing. And while I'm sure there are ample resources here, but I don't believe any of us know how to gain them.
I look down at the acorn that kind of fell. How does that look?
Actually, Dr. Lucy has it.
Yeah.
She scooped it up. So,
well, it's an acorn. There's probably others laying around, I'm guessing.
And the squirrels who eat them.
Can I test
I'll
for
try to-
edibility?
I'll try to take out my sword and crack one of them open.
so it takes a little work to actually get it open, which also makes you really wonder about these squirrels' teeth. But you do, and there is it is like almost like a meaty substance in there, like it's fibrous. It doesn't smell horrible.
I'm not sure I want to be the person to take a bite of it, though.
Oh, I will totally bite that.
I'll bite it.
Break off a chunk.
I'll take a sniff, and if it doesn't make me retch, I'll take a bite.
Okay, so you start chewing on it, and it's really chewy and pulpy. And the more you chew on it, you actually starts releasing like a liquid into your mouth, and the liquid is actually a little bit sweet.
Is better than military rations.
So it's not really bad. It's just a weird texture and very chewy.
And I'll take a pull of vodka to wash it down.
Okay, so Krizik's suggestion is why don't we hike it back to the ship? We will resupply for a little while, and then maybe get our last good, safe night's sleep, and then tell them come back in 3 weeks.
I agree. I think that's the best idea.
We can also mark our territories with something. We now know other things that we have to to expect down here, all that good stuff. So we can maybe try and unmount one of those cannons from the ship and wheel it along with us.
That might be a little bit tough. You're going to have to build some kind of buggy.
Shut up. We can do it.
I think Raz would be kind of stubborn.
Well,
And
if we have some like some small 8-pounders or something, we may be able to carry one.
I think Raz would be kind of stubborn about pressing on and maybe making a forward base here beyond the line where the baboons go. She's kind of like just focused. Like, we had a mission. I think we should go forward.
Roz, I know that you are very capable of doing this. No one is doubting your hardiness, but I, for one, need to feel prepared.
More than that, the other half of the mission is returning home and reporting our findings. How do you plan on getting home?
I will figure that out. That's part of being in the field. Your plans change the moment your feet hit the ground.
No, it's not.
It is in dwarf military.
And
I don't know how kobolds run army.
We don't run the army. We run our own lives.
Roz, your own argument works against you. The plans change the moment your feet hit the ground. We were unprepared for distances, and it doesn't matter how successful we are down here if the only way back is gone.
I suppose if you guys are afraid to continue, I will accompany you back. But I said if you're afraid to continue, then I guess I'm not going to try and stop you.
Now everybody's playing their flaw.
Don't.
Hey man, it's RP.
I'm not afraid to continue.
Yeah? Then
Sometimes you have to use common sense. We're not on a front line in a battle.
I know, we're in the wilderness. We need to forage to survive.
Might we just make camp for the night and then head back in the morning, or discuss it in the morning when we've got clearer heads?
This is a good idea. If we go back now, we'll just have to fight back through burning field of baboons.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing that you saw, Bunny, was a lot of smoke.
In what direction?
The one you guys came from.
The field fire that I started.
This is how we use our territory. Some animals pee on trees. We set fire to the forest.
So you guys go about setting camp for the evening.
All right. For starters, where are we doing this? Are we doing this in the forest, on the edge?
I'd say on the edge.
Because I would totally be like, I'm gonna, hook up a net inside this this tree and hammock it, so I'm off the ground. I don't know how the rest of you feel about that.
Do elves sleep in this universe?
Krizik ties himself to a tree branch and sleeps up there.
I'll take first watch.
I left my watch on the ship.
I'll push myself and try to stay awake all night if I can and keep watch, just to make sure that these people don't get scared of dangerous forest.
Gently try to convince Roz that staying up all night is not the best idea, because we're going to need, we barely got through on a full roster of sleep the last time. Do you really want to cripple yourself?
I have been awake for longer than this before.
But it's not necessary.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. I think she would probably, just as the character would probably just be stubborn and probably stay up all night, just keeping an eye out.
I'm just saying we need you at your best, friend.
I'm
I'm
always
staying
at
up
best.
all night too.
Chrysic would
We're
like
both-
to, while
You
these
too.
guys are playing, I'll take my watch as normal, but I want to also try and mentally, not push, but investigate the barrier, as it were. Maybe, rock over there, just get some resonance feedback, anything, see what's up with that barrier, as it were.
Yeah, okay, so you don't actually find like any kind of physical barrier, mental barrier, anything like that. Your guess is more like, okay, they just won't cross into the forest because for whatever reason, whether you're outside of their territory,
Mhm.
something in the forest they're afraid of.
Yeah, if it's just a fear thing, then that's all it is. Maybe I can get that resonation from things also, but like, just is there like a smell that they're picking up, or is it just we know don't cross this line?
You're probably gonna guess that it's more of a don't cross this line.
If it helps, Raz will go pee outside on a line.
So
While
apparently,
looking at the baboons.
apparently, Roz and the commander are having an alert off to see who can stay awake the best, and
Oh, no.
Bunny fully trusting their ability to keep him safe. He nods off peacefully in his hammock.
If Roz goes off by herself, Israel will follow.
Oh, I only went off to pee while I was looking at the baboons, but then I'll go back to the main camp.
Okay.
I want them to know this is our territory.
Israel-
I just wanted to put this out there. I was going to type, and I'm just going to say it. I don't know how tough you look squatting while peeing and staring at people.
I don't squat when I pee. I just
You don't
stand
squat when you pee.
there. Arms akimbo. You don't know much about dwarves, do you?
Oh,
All right, let's not get into this, please.
yeah, no.
I'll just hand wave the rest.
Thank you.
I would just like to make a request. If you guys are going to get up and walk away, wake somebody up to take watch first.
Oh, it was just like within sight. figured,
I know.
right at the
I'm
edge of the
just
forest.
saying, like, Israel was going to go.
He apparently wants to watch the dwarf pee. I don't.
That's all right.
So middle of the night,
Doesn't want to watch
middle of the night, who's awake?
Israel and the
What
dwarf.
time did we go to bed? Like, what time did we start camping, actually?
It was probably like 8, 9. It was just getting the light was just sun was just going down.
And we're talking midnight as in 12.
Yes.
So I'd probably just be getting ready to bed down at that point.
All right. So the three of you give me perception checks.
Well,
8.
come on. 22.
And what do you got, Roz?
18.
Okay. All right. So a 22 toughness attack. Safe to assume that hits all of you?
Yep, my
Okay.
toughness is 16.
Yeah,
Okay.
mine's 18 or 16.
All right. So you feel a pinprick at the base of your neck, preceded by a barely audible sound of, and as you're reaching up, like, you don't know if you're bit by a mosquito or what, you're like kind of reaching up to like slap it away, itch your neck, whatever. Before your hand even gets there, the ground begins rushing up, and everything goes black.
Oh, fantastic.
And then those of you that were actually asleep, which is only 2. All right. So you as well feel something in your sleep, and then there's nothing.
Oh, great campaign, guys.
James Blatterman in the chat points out, doesn't the mech get to keep watch also?
Oh, there is Bunny. Yeah, or I mean Bunny's companion. Good call. Good call.
You want Mutt to make a roll?
For perception, sure, if he wants to.
Well, he's got. There's no need.
He's not that kind of construct.
I mean, he's got actually a rank in perception because whatever. But I'd rather move the storyline along.
Yeah. Well, you can make the check, but anyway. But I don't think it's probably not going to matter that much. Would you explode the 20?
No, it's the other direction. 3.
All right. So Mud is just doing Mutt thing.
It's doing nothing. At a 3, it's not even.
Mutt is sitting there with his motorcycle chain tongue lolling out. So all of you awaken, right? Basically, you're completely secured with vines, kind of like from head to toe. And you feel like your senses, you feel groggy, you feel like your senses are a little deadened. And you feel yourselves kind of like bobbing up and down slowly as you move along. It's still dark. Krizik, you feel something that you actually haven't felt in a while, in quite some time. And that is the inability to actually move your limbs.
Say that again.
The inability to move your limbs.
Oh, great.
So whatever
Waist down.
something. Yes, you don't feel anything. Usually you mentally kind of feel it, but right now you're not, and you can't. You kind of like awaken, and you go to kick, and you can't kick, so you reach for it mentally, and you just can't feel it. And you feel that grogginess is like weighing you down and keeping you from accessing your psychic abilities.
Don't go back to the ship, she said. You're scared, she said.
And as you guys look around, every once in a while, you see small shadows flitter through the trees around you.
Just eat the dwarf first. That's all I ask.
So you said that we're moving. Are
You
we
are.
moving vertically or horizontally?
You are horizontal.
That's what I thought.
So I'm
Did
kind
they
of
take our stuff?
Yes. Well, you're not entirely sure, but anything bulky is definitely not on you. You literally have vines cocooning you basically from your shoulders down.
So they had my bag with all my samples, and more importantly, my dagger.
Yes, they would. So what you see, these shadows as you kind of observe them a little bit more, is they're little men and women wearing nothing but essentially a loincloth at best from some kind of animal skin. Their skin hue you can make out through every once in a while a moonbeam will come through the canopy and outline one. You can see they have darker skin. They only stand about the size of the kobolds. Most of them have long, dark, kinky hair, and when they look at you, you see their brown eyes.
So what I'm hearing is they're kinky and they've tied us up. Right, got it.
Yeah, pretty much that. They're armed with primitive weapons. You can see the blowgun slung over a shoulder, or spear, or knife. Most of their weapons seem to be made of looks like a stone-like substance, at least the heads of them. And go ahead.
I'm going to say loudly, do any of you speak a civilized tongue?
And you hear them whisper and chatter back and forth.
Don't antagonize them.
Dr. Lucy, give me a learning check.
Yay. No, I missed the dish.
Okay.
19.
So you can't really make out what they're saying, but every once in a while you think you hear a word in Elven, or at least a very primitive and old dialect of Elven.
Can I take a moment, since I can't move or really do anything, can I like focus on that and try and recognize patterns?
You can.
That's what I'm doing then.
So that is another thing. You don't see mutt around. Bunny.
Then how can we do as Bill says and paint him gold and float him above the ground?
So what are you guys doing?
I'm trying to get a good look at these creatures.
I'm going to roll to bide my time.
Perfect.
I get a 19.
Yeah, I think I would just try to remain alert and see where we're going first.
I'm
All
just
right.
paying attention on a linguistic level, trying to suss out names and like maybe what they're referring to when they speak of things.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I guess I would probably just be kind of assessing information, like, okay, this might come in handy later.
so
Is there any way to determine the direction we're heading? We're heading deeper into the forest, it sounds like?
yes. So after traveling this way for a while, you don't actually know how long you've been traveling. You guys kind of get dropped to the ground with thuds. They're none too gentle, and one of them into the air, and then long vines get let out from above, and they set about kind of like making makeshift pulleys and levers to hoist you guys into the air. And now you're being, you're slowly but surely being drawn up into the treetops. And it isn't long before you actually start seeing lights above you guys. And there's primitive lanterns that, again, that are spaced out in these rope bridges and little huts that have been built into the trees. And Ted, you actually go by a face and you think it's familiar to you, and you think you've seen it before. I mean, Bunny has. As you see one of those squirrel creatures again, which are nearly the same size as these half men.
So if I honestly think that it was the squirrel I saw earlier, does it look like it's got does it look like it's got intelligence? Like, is it looking at me like, oh, well, this is recognition? Like,
it looks like an animal.
okay.
Like, whether it recognizes you or not, you're not sure. It just looks at you curiously as you go on by.
Well, not that I could, wave my hand at it or whatever, but I'll in a nice tone of voice, I'll say to the squirrel, "Hello again."
It kind of looks at you and then scurries off. So you guys find yourself on a platform that's made up of vines and branches that have been woven together. And all of you guys have kind of been laid out in this like circle, and there's two of these small figures, one male, one female, and clearly they don't believe in modesty for either of the sexes. They're just basically wearing these loincloths and these harnesses they use to carry their blowguns and not stone knives. They're barefooted. They do have some ornamentation, but it's basically like stones and some kind of twine that they have threaded through their hair or they're wearing around their neck. And two of them seem to be having a heated debate. Now, Dr. Lucy, you've been able to pick up several dozen words just on the journey when they've chatted and talked back and forth, but most of it is like strangers, trees, You know, like a bird took off from a tree one time and they called out a name for it. So it's been more like things around them, or, you know, hey, let me see your knife and things like that. And
Oh,
a couple times maybe you caught like a name of one of them.
okay. Was it one of the ones that's debating right now?
It is not.
Okay, well then I'm going to say their word for stranger and try and engage them.
Okay, so you do it and you say it really well, like close to the way they're talking, and they both kind of stop and trail off and look over at you, and then they start. One of them, you know, says something to the other, makes some hand gestures, and then points at you, and then turns to you and starts speaking at you rapid fire.
Whoa, I need you to slow down. Slow down, speaking stranger, but stranger in their language. I'll make a hand gesture or something, I guess, if I'm switching.
Okay, so it says back to you. He says back to you, stranger, speak.
And I'm gonna nod my head and see if he understands that gesture.
And
stranger tree.
So when you do that, like they also come over to you and squat down near you, and he kind of like cocks his head. And when he does that, the hair kind of like falls away from the side of his face, and you can see that he's got pointed ears, almost like an elf. Not quite as pronounced. And
So he's pointed ears like an elf, but he's the size of a halfling?
yes. So it's not quite as pointed as an elf, though. And, you know, he starts digging in Lucy's hair and uncovering your ears. And he's uncovering your ears.
Yeah.
And he's trying to show the other one, is what you gather.
All right, she'll let this happen. She'll assist him, if possible, by turning her head.
Okay. Bill, your mind is beginning to clear. You don't feel groggy, and you finally feel relieved because you can feel your legs again.
Cool. Then just mentally, I'm going to start doing my linguistics thing. I'm not interested in talking to any of them. I just want to listen and fully understand as best I can. And if I can assist on the language barrier with Dr. Lucy, she doesn't have any invasion of privacy issues like Ty would. So I'll help her out.
Okay, so you kind of put out your psychic feelers and start absorbing the information and kind of like funneling it towards Dr. Lucy. Give me a prescience roll to see how well you're able to do that.
Okay. Prescience is 5. 18, 5, 13, 18 plus 8 is 16, 26.
Okay, absolutely. All of a sudden, Dr. Lucy feels the presence of Krizik in the back of her mind. And you felt it before, but it's a little bit different this time because it almost feels like Krizik has just become a funnel for you, and it's just letting in information. And it's like so flowing into Dr. Lucy, and you can understand them now, and you can speak to them fluently.
Excellent.
Although when they talk to each other, they still talk super fast.
I need you to speak more slowly. I'm just listening. I don't know. The language that you're speaking is very old.
When you do that, they kind of all like jump back, and they start making a sound and a gesture, and you think that that it seems like a primitive superstition type thing where they're like warding off evil, like the evil eye or something along those lines. And how did you learn our language so fast?
I have a friend that's helpful.
And they start looking around, and
Hey.
and call, the one calls out, there's more, go find them.
No,
go.
no, not that kind of friend.
What do you mean? Are you okay? Did the poison affect you badly?
No. No. We don't mean you any harm.
Well, no, you can't harm us. You're tied up.
We didn't mean you any harm before. We didn't even know you were here.
He turns to the female and goes, "See, I don't really think we should eat them after all. Look, they're smart. They talk. They're not like the other ones."
We're also poisonous.
No, no, no. You cannot trick us. You cannot fool us.
I tilt my head and show them the black marks running up my face.
Oh, well, that's different. Maybe this one is poisonous. I'm pretty sure the other ones are not. We've definitely eaten their kind before.
Oh no, they're poisonous. I poisoned them myself. For safety. They belong to me.
Probably to everyone's surprise, even the doctor, Israel will say in Elvish, "Enough of this, untie me now."
Make a learning check, because this is a really old dialect of Elvish.
Oh, yeah, I got a 6.
Yeah. But you do gather they are speaking in Elvish. You just don't understand what they're saying. So to you, it almost seems like they're speaking in some secret Elvish language. And Lucy's only really able to communicate with them so easily because Krezik is actually helping her.
It's secret English.
No, secret Elvish.
Sorry, secret Elvish. My apologies.
It's
their alignment language.
Pig Elvish.
It's the Elvish version of Esperanto.
Umanerane.
Why do you poison your friends? Your
I
companions?
didn't poison them to hurt them. I poisoned them so that if someone else eats them, it's for deterrent.
You're all different. Why are you together and all different? Never see all different.
Do you not have slaves in your culture?
What is a slave?
They are people. They do things because I tell them to.
Well, oh, like the chief, and he points to the female.
Somewhat.
So, how you make it out of the grasslands?
If you untie me, I'll show you.
Me say, okay, and then he kind of does like a gesture, and the other ones start looking around, and they all kind of look to the chief, and the chief nods, and so they are all like getting their blowguns ready, and they're all like focusing on you. But he pulls out a knife, and it looks like the blade looks to be made of that stone, and he begins cutting away the vines.
Okay, I'm going to bring my hands together and I'm going to be like, I'm about to do something, but I promise it's not going to be harmful. And then I will just pull up a shadow barrier around myself and be very careful not to touch anybody else with it.
Okay, so they kind of start like ooh and on because they can't see you. Like you kind of like disappeared and left this like black shell of where they were looking at you from. And he reaches out with his knife to not stab, but to kind of like touch it.
Do be careful. It can hurt you if you touch it with your skin. And I don't want to hurt you. And I put it back down.
So he quickly pulls back his hand. Where do you and your companions come from? Where is your tribe from? Your tribe of many. And you feel like he's not talking about numbers, but the difference, you're all different.
I'm just pointing upward.
He walks over to Bunny and kind of like pushes him with a toe. He goes, "This one," and he walks over to Krezik and does the same thing. This one, same. Everyone else different.
Yes, we come from cloud cities. In the sky.
You hurt?
I don't believe so.
You're talking funny. But
Ah,
we have not seen many of your kind here before. We've seen more of them, and he points to the kobolds.
really? Is that so?
And it seems like some of them begin to rub their stomachs a little subconsciously.
They are not food.
Ha! Anything can be food if you're hungry enough. And they all kind of chuckle.
You aren't that hungry. Not hungry enough to die for it. I told you, I poisoned them.
Ah, yes, the poison. Does seem like a waste of good meat.
They're not meat. They're useful.
Well, when you're hungry, meat's very useful.
More useful than meat. You wouldn't eat your spear.
What they... Well, that is true, but it would taste horrible. What did they call you?
Lucy.
Lucy. You are
Yes.
a Lucy.
This is Bunny. Krizik. Roz. Do I know Israel's name at this point?
I think so.
Yeah, we know his name.
He's never
Right.
told you, but I'm sure it's knowledge.
Oh, right. Circulated. Then I'm going to point at him and say Israel.
It has come up. One of I think it was the Commodore actually brought it up in a conversation once. But as per the commander's request, I've always referred to him as such.
Yeah, Lucy's not that reverent.
We are Ashane. And when you kind of like translate that word, it's an elven word. And it's a very, very old word for ghost.
I see. That is quite interesting. How did you come by such a name?
It is just what we are.
I can promise you my friends will not harm you either if I tell them not to.
Why are you here?
We come from the world above. We wanted to know what happened down here. It's been a very long time. That is why my words are different from yours. But we do need help. We're trying to... Do you know of the Gloom?
Beyond the forest.
Yes.
It
We
is a
need to go
bad,
there.
it is a bad place. We don't go there.
We need to go there.
We do not leave the forest. We do not let things come into the forest either.
We don't mean to stay. All we ask is passage.
Maybe trade.
What would you like?
What do you have?
Well, you have our things. Do you not?
Well, that is true. You're not a good negotiator.
That's not what I meant.
We don't really want for much. Is there really cities above? Is that what you said, in the sky?
Yes, in the sky.
Like
We
a
have many
bird?
things up there. We can bring you back something if you want.
It's very
Something-
dangerous. Very dangerous outside of the forest.
Not up there. It's safe up there.
So, with that, he kind of gets cut off as the female wanders over. And one of the things you notice right away is she's got more of the ornamentation than any of the other ones, and it is literally, threaded stones and rocks and carved pieces of wood, pretty much. She's wearing around her neck. It's layer after layer. She almost looks like a little Mr. T. There's so much, and also threaded throughout her hair as well. Enough already. I am Tandra, and this is my tribe. Grishay, stop fooling around with the outsiders. You wish to go through the forest and leave?
Yes, my lady.
No, my lady's here. I am the chieftain.
What would you like for me to call you then?
You may just call me either chieftain or Tandra.
Chieftain.
Where either works fine. We shall allow you to pass through the forest unhindered. But you must take an oath with us.
Okay. What is it?
Well, we will sit around the fire in the smoke hut.
May my companions join us?
Yes, cut them free.
And then I'm going to explain to them in common what just happened. Like the whole thing, including the lie about them being slaves. She kind of giggles a little bit at that.
Sounds like you handled things well, Dr. Lucy.
We do not get.
I fully used to that particular life. When she explains, I totally bow to her and wait for permission to stand back up.
I immediately, gesture for Bunny to get back on his feet because I didn't mean for that.
You kind of get waved up quickly. She's like, making hand gestures and come. We will eat together, and then we will go to the smoke hut.
Translating.
That is a good idea, though. We should probably, or at least I'll act like, in deference to Dr. Lucy, like, follow behind her and kind of like she's the boss.
Yeah, just please tell me that cobalt isn't on the menu. That's not what we're eating tonight, are we? Leftovers.
We hunt the creatures in the forest, and we gather what the forest has to offer.
So we still have no ability to understand them. It's only when Lucy translates that we get any info, right?
And Krizix can understand as well.
Yeah, I can funnel it to everybody, I think.
Oh, that's actually very useful.
Okay, so there's a little bit of delay for the rest of you for picking it up. Israel does a little bit better because he already speaks, obviously, as a foundation to work off of. But again, when they speak, even though I'm not speaking super fast all the time, they're always speaking fast. And, especially when they speak to each other, they do seem to slow down a little bit to talk to you guys. And Bunny still has not seen any sign of Mutt.
All right. So I'll be a little nervous about this, but I'm also going to look. I don't know how much Lucy translated, so I'm just going to say that. I'm just gonna say she did a brief through, and I'll take credence that she said something about trade and negotiation, and he to him knowledge and ability is the best that he can be able to offer. So I'll look at anything engineering principles kind of have to start off small and work out. So I don't know if there's anything that I would be able to make as an offering in that regards, whether it be a revised pulley system or any of that kind of stuff. But that's the direction he's thinking.
How's your vinology?
Vinology?
Their pulley system is literally vines looped over a branch.
All right. So, well, then in that case, literally, I could make them a pulley, which actually allows you to pull things easier. So I'll begin speculating on how I would go about fashioning that if I could get access to my tools.
Okay, so it's easy enough to do. It's just a matter of time because you would actually have to carve it out of wood or something,
right?
In order to do that and make a pinion system. So, but you essentially you're probably not going to have enough time to mess with that here unless you guys are staying for a while. So, with that, you're brought out food, and basically you're served in these bowls that you recognize. They're the acorns, kind of like hollowed out with the tops popped off. So they're kind of small for you guys, but for the halflings and actually for the kobolds themselves, it's a regular sized bowl. and then they also use the tops as like kind of like serving platters, and they bring out, there's all kinds of stuff. There's actually some meats. There's what you were thinking of, fruits and vegetables, as well as plenty of grubs, very large grubs, and they are still moving.
I go right for those. Let squish explode in my mouth.
It would be criminal not to at least try it.
I
This
have
is a
no
learning experience.
I have no problem with any of it. I'm actually kind of intrigued at a different food source. But I again wait until Dr. Lucy begins eating before I have anything.
And so is that out of deference or
Deference.
okay?
I actually don't wait. I just make a pig of myself.
So they just eat with you. They make a little bit of small talk. They answer whatever questions you have to the best of ability. They're very knowledgeable about the forest, a little bit outside of the forest, but not much. They keep saying they don't leave the forest, that it's safe here and it's dangerous outside of here. And they also are clearly very primitive when it comes to technology and social graces and all of that stuff.
So, you know how we've been having like nightmares and stuff, and like did the group meditation and contacted that like inner darkness animal and whatnot? Do we still have that like vibe?
Oh, from before. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, like you guys literally, the three of you literally have this internal compass that no matter where you are, as far as you've seen so far since you've kind of left, no matter which direction you're pointing, whether your eyes are open or closed, you can stick your finger out and point, and you would point right to the gloom.
Can I figure out where my dagger is from that?
You can try and reach out to your dagger.
Yeah, I know that's not safe, but I'm gonna do it.
Can you use your familiar as a focus on that?
Oh, the little shadow beastie?
Yeah. I mean, isn't that associated with this whole nightmare
Did I
thing?
do that?
I totally forgot about that thing.
You could definitely attempt that.
I'm definitely attempting that.
So to do that, you're going to have to tap into. You feel that you can definitely do it, but you also feel like, well, first tell me your extraordinary abilities.
I have entropy 4 and protection 4.
Okay, so if you extend, 1 point of your ether ability, you could definitely do it, but you know what that means, right?
The risk
Yes.
of burning out. Yeah, I can do that. So entropy roll then.
Nope. It's just you're using your ether score, so it's as if you have a 1 in it. Well, you can use up to 3, your choice. Obviously, the more you use it, the more success.
Right.
And also more risk. So you can use it as a 1, 2, or 3 score. And you will have advantage for tapping the creature. Your id familiar.
I'm gonna go with 1 and play it a little safe here because I'm not sure about doing this in the first place.
Okay.
19.
Okay, yes, you absolutely do that. And what is your resolve score again?
14.
14. Okay, and you take 5 points of damage from your sanity hit points.
That is not terrible.
Okay, so you unerringly know where the dagger is, and it is it's with your stuff, which is all kind of like hanging in a sack right now, from one of the branches.
All right, I will point that out because there's no way we would know. We were unconscious when they took the things, and be like, so we are going to need to get our things back.
We will give you your things back after we do Smoke Hut.
Okay, acceptable.
So yeah, when you actually do that, you actually get like a mental picture of the sack hanging from the tree because you clearly can't see it from where you guys are at.
I did gesture in its general direction, though.
And so with that, the chieftain, Tandra, she kind of like raises an eyebrow and then kind of like you can see her mentally store that piece of information away.
So, is there anyone that's kind of gives me the feeling that they're quartermaster?
Of the tribe?
Yeah.
No, you don't think their structure quite works that way. It would be closer to how the junk gangs operate than any social structure you're kind of used to. Again, you probably wouldn't be aware of it, where Lucy might have studied something like this, or anyone with a decent amount of learning and inclination, but it is definitely a much more primitive. They're tribal in their organization, and which means and you can start piecing it together because Bunny is pretty smart, that they're family groups. They defer to the chief for everything, but there's definitely different family groups. You can see them break off. You can see the similarities in their features. You see they're related.
Okay, well then, whoever I'm closest to that's not like chief or second in command, I'll try to spark in our ever so slow conversation for their type, while we're eating and whatnot, to try to get into have you thought of doing something like this or thought of something like that, and I kind of give them the rudimentary idea of a pulley on a wheel to see how that would allow them to get up into the trees that much faster off the ground.
You don't get very far because they just don't have the context to understand what the wheel is. You'd have to start with the basic and show them before they could even grasp it. You say wheel, as soon as you say wheel, you've lost them pretty much. Both Krizik and Bunny, though, as you talk to them more, you guys begin talking faster, and it's I picture the kobolds talk really fast anyway in comparison to other people. So you guys are able to actually ease into the pace that they talk at. You're not there, but closer.
It's totally related to the height, same height. It's got to be it.
Is that what it is? So there's definitely different ones. They seem very intrigued by you guys. They're curious. It's clear they have not really seen much steel or metal. So, like some of them will try and sneak up and try and touch Roz's arm, or, the sword or the pistols. So you guys might have to shoot. Oh, actually they have their stuff. So it's just Roz's arm at this point.
I just hope no one's gonna, burn stuff down by touching with the backpack.
There is always that danger. And
so at some point in time, I will try to gather the whoever it was that looked like was in charge of the mission to bring us back, and I'll tell them going off of their fascination with Roz's arm, it's like, did you see any other metal? There was a pile of this underneath the tree where I was.
Yeah, we saw it. It tried to run away.
It tried to run away?
We're really fast though.
What happened to it?
Oh, he looks a little sheepish, and he turns to one of the other ones and whispers, and he runs off. Why? What was it?
It was my friend.
Friend?
Yeah. I'm yes.
How good of friends were you?
Um, I made him. He was my friend. He was my mount.
You
My protector.
You made it like we make a spear.
Yes.
Could you make him again?
It took a lot of time, but I could.
I think. Just hold on a minute, and then like 4 of them come back carrying a tarp, and they kind of dump out. They dump out mutt, and the pieces just roll down in front of you. It tried to bite us, and it wouldn't go to sleep.
He's gonna pat Bunny on the shoulder comfortingly.
So he's gonna break down a little bit.
It's all right. He'll be back. You can fix him. You know how to do this. You've done it before.
How bad is the battery?
Everything is intact, but he's just completely disassembled. They offer to maybe give you a backpack to carry him in.
He is far more metal than I can carry.
Well, maybe someone else can carry him. It only takes you a couple minutes of messing with the backpack and the battery pack and some of it, and like you get his torso and his head is kind of like working now.
This is a total Empire Strikes Back C-3PO moment.
At some point during this dinner, while Raz is just stuffing her face, I just want to loudly say, like, so how do you guys keep the baboons out? Do you pee on the border of the forest too?
Oh, we wanted to talk to you about that. How did you get past the Krezak?
But well, it was a combination of a lot of things, mostly involving firepower and running.
Yes, they would have definitely eaten you. We keep them out of the forest, though.
Yes, they did not seem to want to come much closer. I peed on the border to make sure they wouldn't, that we would mark our territory. Is that what you do?
No, we kill them and we put their corpses. We hang their corpses on the trees at the edge of the forest.
That's a good method as well. We were having trouble. They seemed very tough, but not tougher than us.
They are very tough, but we're very sneaky. They're by the time they know we're there, it is already too late.
Okay, so stealth is an asset against these creatures. They seem to be able to sense our thoughts, though. Have you experienced this as well?
They all think together. One voice.
Will we encounter more of them on the other side of forest?
No, we've only seen them in the grass. We don't go that way.
This is good to know.
The forest provides everything we need: shelter, food. It is good.
I see this. It is good.
So
that's it. I just wanted to bring that up.
All right. Real quick, guys, everybody who's tuning in, thank you very much. We appreciate you being here with us today. Before we jump back to the game, just want to say we still got that GoFundMe going. We are trying to get out to LA so we can go hang out with Satine Phoenix and Geek and Sundry for GM tips. There has also been the rumor that we could possibly be getting a tour of the Geek and Sundry office. We just had someone on who's pretty influential over there on Tuesday, and she's been she's got some ideas. We don't know what's going on completely, but she mentioned some really cool things, and I want to get her permission before I throw them out there to the internet. But just know, once we get out to LA, we got some cool ideas for things we want to do, possibly people we want to meet and hang out with. So, if you've given to the GoFundMe, thank you so much. We just crested $1,500. It's going to help so much. We really appreciate it. And if you can give, please do. And if you can't, please share it out on social media for us. We really appreciate it. So with that, back to the game. So when you guys introduced yourselves, had introduced yourselves to them, and you guys had traded names, they kind of go back to Krizik, and they're like, "You don't look like a Krizak."
Yeah, always thought they saying Krizak's name. Heisenberg moment.
We don't know why they say that. They always make that noise, Krizak, Krizak. It's very annoying.
That's why Krizak no talk to self is very annoying.
But here, when we can capture them, or when we can kill them, because we leave their corpses tied to the trees, we like to take their brains out and we eat them. It's very good. Delicacy.
Cool. Why you tell Krizak this?
Well, in case you see some more.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. We'll definitely get a buffet line going.
And their brains are powerful and make you feel good after you eat them.
Really? Feel like what?
Good.
Gotcha.
Like when you drink too much tree juice.
Okay.
You have no tree juice where you're from?
We have no trees where we come from.
No trees.
Not quite that way. But
How do you survive? How do you live without trees?
no, we do have trees where we come from, right? Different.
Yeah, just nothing like this.
Yeah, exactly. It's mostly artificial. Mostly.
We make
Fake,
houses out
made.
of stone. And I'll point towards their weapons.
Oh, you must have a lot of stone.
Oh, we have that.
We get by. Maybe one day you guys send ambassadors. Actually visit, look around, see what else is. Maybe we make relations somehow.
So when you say ambassadors, they definitely don't understand that word, but they start piecing together when you say relations. Like I said, they don't seem unintelligent, just very primitive.
Mm-hmm. And of course, I would use whatever word I possibly can that would best represent.
Oh.
So
I got distracted by the chat because I saw someone say Little Egg Harbor. I'm like, hey, that's right down the road from us.
oh, you are right down the road from Little Lake Harbor.
Yeah, we are.
My uncle used to live in Tuckerton.
Score. That's a little ways from Asbury Park.
Yeah, it is a little ways from Asbury Park. So is Mississauga.
Well, that's true too. So with that, after you guys have eaten and drinking, towards the end, they actually do bring out these little jugs and start passing them around. And drink, tree juice.
Is
Oh,
it
yeah,
a tiny
man.
glass?
Is it a what glass?
Is it a tiny glass?
It is not a tiny glass.
Okay.
It actually gets poured into those bowls.
Israel has not eaten or drank anything, and nor will he.
Heard of
Commander,
it.
don't be such
If-
stick in mud. It's good.
If it's a problem, it's their problem.
Yeah, we absolutely tease you about that.
Okay, Krizik is also not going to drink. Krizik never does anything that will affect his mind. Otherwise, what happened earlier will happen again, and suddenly they'll wonder why you guys can't seem to talk their language anymore.
This is universal language. And I check.
It is. It's very. It's kind of pulpy and thick, but it also has quite a kick to it. And
Nice.
it takes a few. There's a delay, but then you feel the nice warm burning sensation trail all the way down.
It's good.
And it's a little bit like drinking maple syrup.
Ah, they're like Vermont pygmies.
So the three of you will start feeling pretty good if you drink everything that they give you. But you're still aware, you're still conscious. They're drinking it with you. They seem to be getting more and more jovial.
So was this similar to the Fizz Bopper, the Dragon Tea, or the Ether Bomb?
This is different than any of those.
Oh,
I will stop before I go too far.
It is similar to the Dragon Bomb with the burn,
The dragon tea.
The dragon tea with the burn, but it still has a different texture, different flavor, and it actually goes down fairly easy. So
I'm gonna clap Bunny really hard on the shoulder and say, "You're developing quite a palate, my friend."
I will keep drinking if they keep pouring, and who knows? Maybe the rest of the party will get to see Bunny dancing on tables.
I'm loving it.
So it's soon after that Tandra stands up. Enough! It is time for the smoke hut. We will go there and we will bond, and then we will strike an alliance between our tribe and you Sky people. She says Sky people with a little bit of skepticism. And with that, you guys are kind of marched to a central location in the village where there's a hut and it's thatched. It's bigger than any of the other ones. And when you guys go inside, it's almost like they kind of made like a fireplace in the center using those bowls, those acorn shells. Also, this is the way this hut is situated. Most of them are kind of like built around tree trunks. This one is not. This is all where a bunch of branches come together and they build it on the center. It's got a bit of an open top to let smoke out, and there's a roaring fire going. And there are strange logs stacked in a cord along the one wall. And when you look at them, the wood looks kind of gray with these like electric blue veins running through it. And Tandra said, when you get in there, she gives you this formal greeting, and it's much more formalized than anything you guys encounter from them thus far, and it seems very ritualistic.
I am greatly intrigued by these logs.
And that's where we're going to stop for today. We'll resume in 2 weeks after I get back from Origins. If any of you guys happen to be going to Origins, send me an email at nerdarchy@gmail.com. Maybe we can hook up while we're out there. Me and staff writer Doug, we're going to be there hanging out. I believe Megan is going to make a pilgrimage as well, and so is Ty. So we will be out and about at Origins. If you would like to hang out with a nerd archist, reach out to us, and we will find you. I'll hunt you down like big game. Or you can do vice versa. If Ted was going to be there, I'd say tackle him, but he's not, unfortunately.
Yes, Dave is always encouraging people to tackle me at conventions.
With love. He's got it. Oh, you know what? Hey, Ted, do you have more of those card things? Should I carry them with me?
If anybody's interested, I can certainly do that.
Score. Tell them about that thing, please.
All right, well, there's a game that is called Concardia that I know a lot of the Jeff Mack events has that team there, and I purchased a Nerdarchy card for that game, and the only way to get them is to actually get them from people who are, that do this thing. So I'll give the cards to Dave, and if you see him and you want one of these cards, just ask.
And thanks for reminding me, Doug, because next week we do have the Starfinder game going on the 13th, Tuesday night, believe 8 p.m. Eastern time.
That's correct.
Ted will be playing in that game along with Cody from Taken 20. Will from Encounter Roleplay will be in that game as well. Pruitt from WebDM will be in that game, and it is going to be run by Stephen Owens from Paizo, so it should be a lot of fun. Sad I can't be in that game, but I'm sure Ted's going to have a blast with it.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it.
So with that, guys, until next time, stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.